Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and in today's video we are going to take a look at a 4K release, new release title that's just on its way out here before the holiday season, and that is It Chapter 2, the sequel, the finale to the new It series of movies. First one came out a few years ago. It Chapter 2 came out this summer, and now we've got it on 4K Ultra HD to check out and review. If you do like Blu-ray, 4K reviews, home theater, any of that good stuff, please subscribe to the channel. We're just a few hundred away from 20,000 subscribers, which was my goal for the end of this year. So I'm trying to hit that goal before the end of December, and I'd appreciate if you guys could help out. And thank you to everyone who already has subscribed. Now, with that being said, please excuse me for my voice. I'm losing it a little bit, so it might crack here and there. I had a little bit of a cold. But we're going to get started with this 4K review. So It Chapter 2, according to IMDb, was shot at 2.8 and 3.4K. And so I can almost guarantee that we're getting a 2K source image here, although there are no details out there to tell me otherwise, that it might be a 4K or that it is a 2K. Because it was shot at a lower resolution, I'm assuming it's a 2K digital intermediate. So it's not a true 4K title. That being said, the cool thing about this disc visually is that it has HDR10+, HDR10, and Dolby Vision. So no matter which HDR format your system is capable of, you're going to be able to experience all three formats. Of course, most 4K discs come with HDR10, but for example, my Samsung 4K TV has HDR10+, but your LG OLED TV might have Dolby Vision. And so you're going to get to experience both premium HDR formats regardless of what kind of setup you have. Of course, on the projector, I'm only getting HDR10. I'm not getting HDR10+ or Dolby Vision. And so that's why I checked this out on both the TV and the projector. What I saw in this release was that it has some really good color. So I saw this movie in theaters, and I saw it in a Dolby Cinema. It has a Dolby Atmos track, and so I saw it in Dolby Cinema because it has Dolby Vision, and my local AMC has a Dolby Theater that shows movies in Dolby Vision with Dolby Atmos sound. In looking at this, even with the HDR10+, it felt very similar to what I saw in the theater, which is a good thing. Compared to the Blu-ray on this, there are definitely some upgraded colors. The darkness, the black levels, much better. Gray uniformity is better. It is a definite upgrade color-wise. Resolution-wise, I didn't see much in terms of like an uptick in detail. I thought that both the Blu-ray and the 4K have pretty good detail. Obviously, you're always going to get a tiny little upgrade in detail on the 4K. It's more noticeable on bigger screens, so on my projector, I could tell, oh, there's a little more detail in that scene versus this scene on the Blu-ray through the projector. It's just a bigger screen, you're going to be able to tell that. But on the 55-inch Samsung 4K TV I have, I didn't really see a big difference in detail. The biggest difference was definitely the color, and they did a really nice job with the HDR color grading on this and the black levels, considering that this movie has a lot of very dark scenes. A lot of the movie takes place in dark areas or at night. It is very helpful to have the HDR help out with the contrast and the black levels, and the scenes that do occur during the day also pop a little bit better. So that was really nice to see, and makes this a worthy 4K upgrade for visuals, because the use of HDR is definitely worth the extra $3 or $4 to go to 4K over the standard Blu-ray. Now on both the 4K and the Blu-ray, props to Warner Brothers for doing that, you do get the Dolby Atmos audio. So even if you do opt for the Blu-ray, you're going to get Dolby Atmos, but the Dolby Atmos on the 4K is always a nice addition. Like I said, sometimes Disney doesn't put the Atmos on the Blu-ray, only on the 4K, so it's nice to see this on both releases, because it's important, I think, to put it. There's no reason Atmos can't be on Blu-ray and 4K. Might as well put it on both. I still don't know why Disney does that, but Warner Brothers did do it with this release, so both discs have the Dolby Atmos track. I thought the track was very good. There are a few moments in the movie, especially towards the end, where, you really get a full feeling of the Atmos. And, at the end of the movie, they're in sort of this cave area where, you had seen them at the end of the first movie, and they're back in that area, which makes for a very, small sound space where stuff is bouncing off of, you know, cave walls and the top of the cave, and there's sounds kind of all over the place. That was really the best moments for me. A few other highlights that stood out. I mean, there's a few moments in the middle of the movie where you know, they're going around and collecting their different artifacts, and there's some really cool moments when each of them find their artifact, which, you know, the score was really powerful and the music sounded really good. But the biggest action sequences definitely happen, you know, in the house, in that haunted house that they visit in the first movie, and then down into the well and down into the cave. That's where you get the best experience. And so, you know, that would be the highlight if you're looking to show it off. But overall, a very good track, very clear dialogue. I had no issue with volume adjustments or anything like that. So it seems as if it's a very solid audio. You're just maybe not getting the most impact from Dolby Atmos on this release, but it's always nice to have the highest level format you can. So you're always going to want to listen in Dolby Atmos if you can, if that's an option. I always go with Atmos. Now, packaging wise, I actually really like the slipcover here. I like the artwork on it a lot. I think that there's a steelbook. I can't remember, but I don't remember what that artwork looks like, but I really like just the minimalist kind of all white slipcover. That's really nice. Back cover is pretty typical stuff. Opening the inside, you get the same sort of stuff on the inside, and then on one side you've got your Blu-ray disc, on the other side you've got your 4K disc, and then the 4K disc is actually stacked on top of, which I don't love, but it's stacked on top of another Blu-ray disc full of special features. So your 4K disc has to sit on top of the other Blu-ray disc. I'm probably going to switch that, put the special features disc under the Blu-ray movie and keep the 4K disc by itself, because that's the one I don't want that to get scratched up. I care more about that disc than the Blu-ray disc. So it's kind of an odd choice. I would have put the Blu-rays together or just done a 3-disc case, but you know, I understand why. They got to save costs on this physical media stuff wherever they can. Now, for special features, there's actually some really nice stuff. Like I said, there's a whole Blu-ray disc full of special features, and that includes 2 documentaries. It's called The Summers of It, Chapter 1, You'll Float 2, and Chapter 2, It Ends. And those are all behind-the-scenes documentaries about the making of the movie, and they really dive into some depth here, and that's why you needed another Blu-ray disc, because this is like a full feature-length documentary about the making of the movie. And so if you love that kind of stuff and you're interested and you love these movies, it's a really cool behind-the-scenes look. You also get numerous featurettes. You get The Meeting of the Losers Club has officially begun. That's where they sort of talk about you know, casting and who the new actors are versus the old, when they were the kids, who are they portraying now, you know, how did they all get involved in the project. Pennywise Lives Again, which is talking about kind of Bill Skarsgård getting back into that character for Chapter 2, and then Finding the Deadlights. There's also a commentary by the director, Andy Muschietti, so that's really cool as well. You get a full director's commentary. So the thing's loaded with stuff. You've got a Blu-ray disc, a 4K disc, and a full Blu-ray full of special features, pretty good length featurettes, and that full length documentary. So they did a really nice job. If you're a big fan of the It movies, you're definitely going to want to grab Chapter 2 because of all that extra behind the scenes stuff. So overall, this is another really solid 4K release from Warner Brothers. They have been doing a really good job with their encoding, with their transfers, with their use of HDR in all of the HDR formats. Color grading, not just for Dolby Vision, also for HDR10 Plus and HDR10. They do a great job across all 3. They've done a great job with the Dolby Atmos track, and so I do recommend grabbing It Chapter 2 on 4K. If you have the first It on 4K, you're definitely going to want to grab the Chapter 2 on 4K. If you're trying to save a few bucks, I would wait and see if there's going to be a combo pack with It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 on 4K. See if it includes the documentary and all the behind the scenes stuff. If it doesn't, you're going to want to buy the individual, because that has some really cool behind the scenes features. And if you already own Chapter 1, then it makes sense to just go out and get Chapter 2 on 4K. It's only going to be a few dollars more. It's probably going to be either $20 for the Blu-ray and then $23 for the 4K, or $23 for the Blu-ray and $25 for the 4K. So if you're going to buy it on release day, you know, this is a great Christmas gift for a horror fan. And for $25, it's really a feature-packed release. They didn't, cut any corners or take any shortcuts with this. It's nice artwork, great packaging, and a great 4K transfer with Dolby Atmos. And so I highly recommend it. I will leave a link to it Chapter 2 on Amazon down in the description. If you do want to pre-order it through my link, you help out my channel, which I appreciate, and Warner Brothers also appreciates your support. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications. Remember to follow me on Instagram. Check out all the other links down in my description. I'm currently having 10% off all merchandise for Black Friday. If you do want some merchandise, now's a great time to grab it. If you go to my Teespring store, link down in the description, and use the code HOLIDAY10, you get 10% off your order. Unfortunately, that's the best I can do with Teespring's rules and their different levels of profit, that they take, the chunk they take. I can only give 10% off, but it's better than paying full price. So a little bit of a sale there on the merchandise. Make sure you check out It Chapter 2. Thank you to Warner Brothers for sending this out for an early review. Sorry about the audio quality. My voice, like I said, I've been coughing up a storm this whole video, but I wanted to get this out here for you guys. And so, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for bearing with me while I go through this kind of cold. And I'll have more content soon. I got some more 4K reviews on the way. Really exciting titles. So stay tuned for those, and I'll talk to you guys very soon.